morning. This is George Tkaczuk with Know Your Options Inc. reporting you from the CME Group trading floor in Chicago. This morning I want to go over two things. First, get a general look at the equity markets and then talk about some possible stock plays that we think are viable. Okay, first off, the market still is in this cautious uptrend. We talked about this November 16th bottom and the market's moved up pretty good since then. However, we still don't have that really good volume confirmation that we want to see going to the upside. And the market appears to have a little bit stalled and a bit in a trading range. So the NASDAQ keeps skirting back and forth above its 200-day moving average, drops sometimes a little below it. Seems a lot of it is held captive to Apple stock. However, Apple does, so does the NASDAQ. Now the S&P 500 is doing a little bit better. It's above its 50-day moving average. It's right there again this morning. And it's able to stay well above the 1400 level. So that's pretty good, but again, we just don't see any big volume moves to the upside. So the market's just sort of wandering back and forth. And dare I say that perhaps we're a little bit captive to the so-called fiscal cliff talks, but let's forget about that for now. But anyways, looking at global markets and a few internals in the markets, there's some pretty positive things going on. I mean, we have the German stock market at its 52-week high. We have the French stock market also at its 52-week high. We have the English markets just trying to break into their new highs. So that's pretty interesting. I mean, if you recall, we had all this problem with the sovereign debt and so forth, but markets are keeping moving higher. And since markets are globally connected, this may be saying something that may happen in the future in U.S. markets. And also, we have copper prices that continue to move higher. Copper's at about 370. That's pretty good, and they just keep moving higher. Also, when we look at industry groups, we still have home builders leading. We talked about financials coming up in the ranks. Now they're starting to do very well. And also the chemical group, whether it be chemical plastics, basic chemicals, these stocks and this group is doing quite well. And this is a cyclical type of industry group, so it usually does well early in the cycle. So all these things going on is telling us that perhaps we might see a better than expected economic recovery and the markets may do very well. But for now, again, we're in still very cautious state because we still don't have that volume confirmation. Now I want to talk about two stock plays we see setting up. Basically, both these stocks I'm going to mention, they're setting up what's called a double bottom base. A double bottom base basically looks like the letter W if you look at a stock chart. And what happens is the stock starts to consolidate, correct. It comes down, forms the first bottom of the W, goes back up, then comes down again. Now, that when that stock makes that second low, usually, and then it's able to come back up, that second low, if it undercuts the first low, is usually where it shakes out the weak hands. And if it can take out the middle of that W, that's your buy point and that's your double bottom base. So we have two stocks that are acting like that right now. Rackspace Hosting, symbol RAX, basically hit a high a few weeks ago, about 70, came down a little bit to the 60 area, went back up to the 67 area, and now went back down, undercut that 60 area to about 58 and change, and now is back above that 67, the middle of that W. That's your buy point. It's doing that on volume. That's a possible entry point. And of course, if it fails, use a stop loss of about 7-8%, and you'll be in good shape. Another stock in the pharmaceutical sector is Valeant Pharmaceuticals, symbol VRX. That also basically hit a high of about $60, came down, again made the W-type shape, took out that low, undercut the previous low, and now again it's right at about $57. The top of that W is about $59. If it can take out that 59 level on big volume, that would be your buy point. Okay, but again, we want to see the market improve a little bit more before you get too heavy in this market, or otherwise all bets will be off. So let price and volume be your guide. This is George Tkaczuk with Know Your Options Inc. reporting you from the CME Group trading floor in Chicago. Have a good trading day.